Hello friends, it's just another of my vlogs. I'd like to talk about the link between cannabis, schizophrenia supposedly, and spiritual possession. And I'd also go on and cover the subjects about other spiritual experiences you can have on other drugs. Now, I myself smoked cannabis from 1993 to 1995. And also during my spiritual awakening, where I become aware of spirit at the bequest of Father God, because he awoke me through his son Peter Citadel here, and I started communicating. I was put with the light, and I started communicating with my spirit guide audibly through my light, who was there, and having other spiritual experiences. Well, I smoked hash. I had like half a joint most days, but on a Friday night I used to have a couple of joints, so I wasn't a really big abuser of it. But I wouldn't recommend anybody to smoke it, because it's one of those drugs that's an antisocial drug. It just makes you sit around and do nothing basically, but you enjoy sitting around doing nothing, but it's not good for you. It makes you very antisocial. I stopped smoking it in '95 when I became ill. Now I'll tell you what's happened. Anyway, I was being spiritually awoken, and I'd taken one other drug as well, speed, just twice, and then I didn't take it no more after that. But I'll tell you about that later. Cannabis, I mean, it opens your, whatever people believe, but it does open your psychic senses up and spiritual abilities up. The Native Americans smoked cannabis because whatever, because it heightened their spiritual abilities, and they knew it did, but they knew how to control it and protect themselves properly, which most people don't. So they used it to have vision quests, and spiritual vision quests, and to see visions of spirit, and to meditate, and all kinds of things. They used it for. The Native Americans, and other cultures have too, in their spirituality, used drugs and cannabis and opiates and all kinds of things. Anyway, I become awoken to spirit, and it was all going perfectly, but I didn't realise there was a conspiracy going on against me, and then I got attacked by spirit, and I was chased away, and within 8 hours of being attacked by spirit, I tried to take my life, and I ended up in a hospital after that, and they sent me to a mental health hospital, and the psychiatrist sat there, and he said, have you smoked cannabis? And I said, well, yeah, I have smoked it, but I'm being spiritually attacked. And he just put me in a box of being schizophrenic right away. Now, I've been re-diagnosed just this year. I'm not going to I've discharged myself again now, but I've been re-diagnosed as schizoaffective, which means you can feel things that spirit are doing to you too, that you perceive is being done to you. Because psychiatrists, they don't believe in spiritual attacks, and they just categorise you as a schizophrenic or schizoempathic or whatever, So the thing is that spiritual possession or attack and schizophrenia, you have exactly the same symptoms, all the same symptoms, and you suffer just as badly, whichever it is, a genuine a schizophrenic or a genuine spiritual attack. You display all the same symptoms, all the same mentalities, all the same things. You hearing the same things, the same voices, many things. Very, very difficult to tell the two apart. It is possible. I've for the last 10 years I have a spiritual website, and I've had people come to me that are being spiritually attacked, and you listen to them carefully and you can hear things that spirit would do. And I've listened to those that come to me also on that through those spiritual links on my websites, that I've recommended go to doctors, because I could tell there was a difference, and that they were genuinely I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose somebody, but to me they were genuine schizophrenic, some of them, and I could tell the difference, barely tell the difference. Anyway, I got in the mental health system, and they put me on antipsychotics, and I was very down and depressed as well, antidepressants, and they had no effect on the spirit attacking me whatsoever. It didn't decrease it in the slightest bit. The only thing I would say is the antipsychotics I used to take at night, and they helped shut my mind down, because it was like working too hard, the cogs were driving too fast, and I couldn't get to sleep very easily, so it did help me to sleep and get back to sleep, because the spirit woke me up 2 or 3 times a night with attacks as well. So it didn't really help the drugs. Now, the thing is that if you have a drug that gives you spiritual senses and increases them, like you know, cannabis does, because you know, if you smoke cannabis, you can sit in a room with other people and you just look into their eyes, and you know, they look back into your eyes, and you know what they're thinking, and you say, did you just think that? And he's going, yeah. So you do open up your psychic perceptions, but you also open your spiritual perceptions to spirit too. So those that become more and more aware through smoking cannabis, a bad spirit can come along and quite often attack them. You see, good spirit don't come to people that smoke cannabis that often unless they're invited, which people smoking don't usually think of inviting a spirit, but they don't come to them that often because they're not invited, whereas a negative spirit, you know, is just going to come to anybody, whatever, because they don't care. So yes, it opens up all those perceptions, so you can become spiritually aware and be attacked quite easily through smoking cannabis. So I don't recommend it, and you know, if you do it, I recommend you learn how to realise that you're becoming spiritually aware doing that, and that you need to protect yourself and learn how to protect yourself properly so you don't get negative spirit coming to you. You know, people have used these drugs to increase their spirituality. Other drugs like speed, and I've only tried speed, so I only tried it twice, give you a spiritual high. I mean, you know, other drugs do it too. They give you a spiritual high, and you have, you know, ease like they do it, and you know, other drugs do it. I don't know about heroin, but you know, there's other drugs that give you spiritual highs as well, like cocaine. And you have an up, and you have phenomenal rushes of energy coming up your spine and through your body. Your spirit is set alight by it virtually. Its energies are phenomenal. That's why you have a high, because you're having a spiritual high. It's not of a physical nature. So a physical drug can affect the spirit and give you a high, because you have no inhibitions. That's what the drug gives you, no inhibitions and confidence, and it brings the spirit, but it gives the spirit out. It brings all the energy of the spirit out. But what happens 6 hours later or so is you have a complete down. You have to come down off that drug, and that is because you've burnt your spirit energies up and depleted it completely, burnt it out, and you have a come down because of that, and you know, you've burnt your spirit out, and it feels like your spirit's abandoned you. It really does, because I've had that twice, 3 times, and I did not like it, and that's why I stopped taking that drug, because I realised I was spiritually abandoned, that I depleted my spirit, and that it felt like I was dead virtually. And you know, it was not a nice feeling. It was nice being high, but it was not nice coming down. So I stopped doing that, because it wasn't a sensible thing to be doing. It's only because I was with others that tried it that I tried half a dose of it, but I didn't like the after effects, so I stopped doing it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if we can have drugs that can give us highs like cannabis or other drugs, that for those that are spiritually attacked, there is a solution to maybe find chemicals and drugs that decrease spiritual awareness. So to me, this is something that the medical profession should look into, in being able to put blockers in to block spiritual perceptions. You have to be careful that you're not damaging the spirit doing so. So they have to be blockers that are not going to deplete the spirit. But you know, I've taken antipsychotics, and I still take a tiny bit because it helps me sleep, but I'm not on much medication at all now, because every time I try to give my medication up, these spirit attack me, and you know, to force me to keep taking it because they want to discredit me. Of course they do. But you keep taking it for as long as you can, you know, it doesn't have an effect, whereas on a genuine schizophrenic it probably will have an effect, but not on yourself. So you've got to look for other drugs to try to cure these things, and teach these people that are being spiritually attacked to protect themselves. So I thank you for your time. I bless you. Love and light, Shep.